it's called a shape tool, and it contains all the shapes. Yes, it contains all the shapes. It contains shapes like, your rectangle, your lines, your arrows, your ellipse, your polygon, um, your star, your place, and you can also place, a video or an image. So we're going to be handling the shape too. We're going to be handling the shape too. Yes, we're going to be handling shape too. So that's it. Shape two, the shape two. Let's delete that and then. So in the shape two, the first two we're going to look at is our rectangle two. The rectangle two. Let me zoom out. And I hope it's not because I'm working with Zoom. So we have the rectangle two. So the rectangle two, like it says, just draws rectangles for you. Like, for instance, if I don't want to make my workspace too messy, so I'll just go here. See this rectangle tool now. You can click R, or you can make sure you're on it, please, then you can just draw any rectangle you want, any color. Feel free to be very creative with the process. You can draw any rectangle you want. I remember on this our right side that we call the inspector panel, we have control over the color. We can choose the color of our rectangle to be blue, to be green, to be yellow too. So that's it about rectangles. The rectangle to blue, yellow. It just gives you any rectangle you want. And one of the things, like mostly, most of like the most shape, or how will I put it? The shape you use the most is the rectangle to get. So the shape you use the most is the rectangle too. And then, you have your lines too. You have your lines to just, for drawing lines. Then you have your font lines, like any kind of line you want. So it's just, for drawing lines, like it says. And then the next one we have, it's your You see, we just drew lines. The next after lines we have the arrow too. Yes. Like the arrow too, like the line too, there is arrow too. Though to be very honest, I don't see a function of these two. Probably, but yes, it functions as an arrow. You get, because um but yes, there's just know that there's an arrow too in Figma. But yeah, whether you like it or not. So that's very important. Um Um, I okay, you guys can hear me. I wanted to be sure. So we have our next two, ellipse two, and with the ellipse two is that we have the ellipse two is like it looks like a circle, right? So if you click it, it will just sorry, I keep putting on. If you click this ellipse, it will give you well, you know, a circle, a circle. And with a circle, like I said, if you go to your inspector panel, you see this place they call field. If you see this field, then it's for that field is majorly for the colors of your shapes. And then, well, we'll do that when we're done with it. But let's understand that one. And then we have our circle too. You can see this is the line too. We talked about the rectangle too. The next one we're going to talk about, we talked about this ellipse too. Ellipse too is also another use to in like just for circles, and any fun thing that you feel that you can do with it, you can make your circles to be like this. That was for that. So the next one we're gonna treat is the polygon tool. And like the polygon tool, described is for polygon. Polygons are three-sided shape. I believe they're three-sided or above five side. Well, yes, above five sides, I believe. So you can have a triangle. So it just depends all on the side. Like here, if you look at your inspector panel, please look at this right hand side that shows 3. So it's telling you that the number of sides on this your polygons are 3. So if I click it and I make it 6, 7, no, 7. Let me change the color so you can see what we are doing here. Let's change the color of this one. You can see the way the reason is like you can see the way it's like 7. Yeah, then if you make it 8, I think it's an octagon. You can make it 9. But I mostly, if I'm using this, I usually do the triangle. Or I do the hexagon. This one, yeah, I don't really like take like go all out with the two. Just do your polygons and you're done with your work. So it's like that. It functions like that. So that is it about the rectangle tool. That is it about the rectangle tool. Um, to be sure, I want to check. Let me talk about other tools. The next tool we're going to talk about is the star tool. The star tool. So the star, like any tool, it just shows you the star. It gives you a star, but there are incredible things you can do with this tool, or not incredible things. Not all like, but I mean, making a star is pretty important. So you have a star. Yes, there is a star. You see the star sees you. So this is this is it about the star. So you know. This is the star tool. So what the star tool does is to show you what the star tool does is to give you a star. And the important thing about this is that you can actually be creative with the star tool. You can make it 9. If you wanted to go all out to increase it. I'm going to show how we use the star tool to make something here. I think let's say 50. Let's see 80. I'm just trying to get, something that work well. And let's make this anyway, let me just leave it at that. So this is the star, so I can make the star 5 and then reduce this thing. So the star two can also function as a pentagon too. But it's best to just stick to what star. Like if you did this setting, if you did this 5, this thing here, and you did this one, the star two, would take on different properties. So like we said, after getting to this start, we want to talk about the inspector panel, like what the inspector panel shows what does the inspector panel shows when you click I don't know. What does the inspector panel show when you click a shape? You can see that first of all, the inspector panel shows you the first thing you see is design. So under design, that's the part you're on. You see this align tools here, but we're not talking about that one yet. Then you see X and Y. X and Y, has to do mostly with the position of your shape on your doc, like the position of your shape on your Figma file. You can see it is to the X, to the X axis is minus 5,207, and to the Y axis, it's 2,195. So that is it about position. This one shows you the position. Let me write it so we know what we are talking. Oh, it has disappeared. Let me okay, since I can't write it, let me just click my shape again. Since I can write this. So this second one is for the width and the height. For instance, if I click this thing now, width has to do with like the right, and it has to do with like the breadth of this rectangle. So if I increase it, you can see that the breadth keeps increasing. Like if I just increase it, so if I reduce it, the breadth of this thing. But if I play with the height, you see that the height, does move. So you understand that this one shows you the position, while this one gives you the dimensions of the rectangle. That's the width of the rectangle and then the height of the rectangle. Now, this one's under this thing gives you the angle at which the rectangle is. You can see that the more I increase the value of the angle, you see it's turning. So that is how these elements work. This is it. So you see this one is for your rotation. For your rotation. You can see there. Now let me zoom in and then let's see something. Let's zoom into this rectangle. Like we said, position, width, height, rotation, you can rotate the shape any angle you wish to rotate it to. Yeah, but I think we keep it like that. And then the next one you have, it's you see this as I click on this shape, you can see this these things here. And the importance of these things is that you have a this particular one here. This is for rotation. You can see this is for corner radius. Like if I click these things, wow, like you can see like it has radius. Like the corner radius is actually, is what makes you know shapes rounded. Yes, just what the thing does is to round your corner, give it those perfect rounded corners to like in any project. So if I make the corner radius 50, I can either control the corner radius from here or I can control it from this side. Um, but I think most of us just end up controlling it from here. But the thing about just dragging this in that you might not have like a really perfect dimension, something like 50. Yeah, so you don't need to overdo it, like just take it down. Except that's what you want over. This gives you the corner radius. And with every shape, even with this two, you can see it has a corner radius. If I just keep clicking, if I click, you can see this. You can see the way it's almost turning into a circle. It doesn't turn to a circle. They're not corner radius. You can make anything. So that is it about our corner radius. And yes, so that is it about that one. And then you have next one I'm going to talk about is the layer. So on in this we are still treating the inspector panel, please. Still on the inspector panel. Still on the inspector panel, we have layers. So layers, can have different properties. For example, they can be light. This one, if you worked well with Photoshop, or if you have an idea of Photoshop, yeah, it has all these are called layer modes. Like what kind of mood does the layer in? If it's in darkening, you get. But mostly 90% of the time, you not use it to effectively, you not use it to effectively, you're doing something that will need, or you changing these modes. So that is it. So mostly you just, want to stick to pass through or normal. Just stick to normal. Like just stick to normal. So that is it. So that's it about it. And then this controls the transparency of your layer. This controls the transparency of your layer. What I'll do for you is that I will screenshot this part and then um let's see if we can. Anyway, I'll screenshot it and then write the proper dimensions, like how this thing is supposed to function. So you guys can just see it there. And then you can see this. So if I click 40, if I click 40, you can see it's just trying to tell you that this layer is now transparent. You can see if I put it over this layer, you can see now. So it's now creates a difference in their shape. So you can see this is like 40%, this is 80%. So just like that, and it just keeps going on. You can make this 10 to, but 10 is not really useful. I don't know what you're using 10 for, but it's your choice, you're the designer. But yes, this is how it works. This is how you have, that big tinted glass effect, you've always wanted. Is it tinted? Yeah. Just the transparency mode. That is how it works with that. And then the next one we have is the under this thing, under layers, under the inspector mode, we have the next one we have is our stroke. So what stroke does is to give the outer bounding box of your shape. It's like it's to what it does is that it outlines the bounding box of your shape. For instance, if I increase this thing, if I increase the width of this okay, um let's not talk about stroke for now. I think we should just we should I don't think you've handled I don't think you've handled the field. So what field does is like every sorry, what field does is like it handles, the field of your shapes. So you're looking at a field of a different color, and you can put, so what this does, you can change the color of your rectangle. So that's what field does. You saw as I was changing the color of my rectangle before. So yes, you can change the color of your rectangle very easily and very quick. The next one, so that is it about fields. That is it about views. You just, give it any color you want. You can give it a darker shade of this, a darker shade of, red, a darker shade of pink, just giving you different colors. You can do whatever you want with this one. And but under view, we have certain things like gradient, this thing, um, how to choose image. For instance, if I wanted to choose an image, I would just go to my downloads and choose maybe this image and then just upload it here. So you can see if I choose that image, you can see that it's now uploading. So you can change the field of your distance from a normal solid shape, like a normal solid color, to having an image, having an image on it. So very interesting things you could do with field actually. I would like to see what you guys come up with after this class. So but that's it about field. The next one we are going to talk about is the stroke. So if you click here, you see the stroke part, and then the stroke, you can increase your stroke, you know, as much as you want to. So stroke is mostly like a bounding box of your shape. It's like the area around your shape. So that's it about stroke. And just, you can also like it acts like field, so you can give it any this thing. But when you're actually talking about stroke, it's mostly about the boundaries, like the boundary of whatever you're doing. For example, now if I go to this thing and I click this shape and then I give it a stroke, for your whatever, and then I increase the stroke size. You can see it's just giving the boundary of the shape, to just highlight that boundary, just like we talked about here. So that is it. So you can see what fuel has done. Fuel can change the color of your this thing. And another special thing about fuse or stroke is that you can still operate the opacity of the fuel or the stroke, like the color. So that is it about it. So I don't want to go too deep into all like specifics of what we are doing right now. I don't want to make the class too. And then on your right side is effect and export. So we won't talk about effects today, but if you wanted to export something, you can just click what kind of size, maybe if it's JPG or PNG, select your number of X or how big you want it to be, then export your rectangle. You can see it comes to your system as a picture. So you can see my smoothly made rectangle in here. So that is it about all the tools. You can see another one is called the place image. So for example, if I pick this, let me be sure that I have, let's say I pick this image and I place it somewhere. This is the last two under shape. So what this two actually does is that it helps you pick an image. Like it just for if you want to pick an image, place an image or a video. But we can't place video now because I know on the premium plan right now. So but if you're on the premium plan, like if you've paid for the software, I think it's about $3 or $12 per month. I'm not sure. But if you pay for, you have access to not only NBC but also videos. You can select videos and like have videos play on your lifetime. Like so, go that's pay for the premium. Bro. So that is it about the shape to the wonderful wonders of the shape tool. We can go on and talk about the pen tool and the pen tool um and text to so the pen tool, it acts as a it's the one tool you can use to create any shape you want. Though it's not a tool that we can handle here because I believe in our premium class, you would access, if you join the premium class, you need to know how to create, clean shapes. Like, so if you cannot create this, do not fret. If you don't want to join the premium class, there are YouTube videos you can definitely watch online for free, for everyone. Just, watch it and enjoy. But right now, if you want to learn how to do, it's not something you can do right now anyway. So that's it about the pencil. Pencil is mostly about creating any shape you want. If you wanted your shape to look funny, you can also do that. So that is it. So about pencil. Thank you. We'll still when we come back, we'll treat maybe just for part one, not to make it too long. We talk about our text to talk about our resources, and then we shouldn't talk about everything. But yes, we'll talk about this one. And then when we're done, we'll now, we'll have to read this particular steps online. So that is it. So I'll stop here for now. And then in our part two, we'll talk more on this. Let me end this.